the worst possible moment.
So what will happen to those 300,000 people that you can't reach?
Well, they won't get the food aid that they should be able to rely on. They won't get any medical help if they fall ill. We know of tens of thousands of women and children who are literally hiding in the bush. We know that many villages have been burned. People have literally been turfed out of their homes. There have clearly been very severe breaches of any sense of decency, international humanitarian law, and human rights. And it's imperative that we get back on the ground and get a better sense of what's happened, but also assist people with the very bare minimum that they need to stay alive. That's what we're talking about here.
So what do you need? Do you need a kind of ceasefire? Do you need a humanitarian corridor?
Well, we need the fighting to stop. We've needed that for 17 months, and despite the ongoing fighting, we've managed to establish a presence in over 81 locations in South Sudan to help people who really just want the violence to end. So, yes, we need the violence to end, but at the very least, we need assurances from both parties in the conflict that the aid workers can go back into this part of the country and manage what really are very simple emergency relief operations to help the population weather the terrible storm that engulfed South Sudan over the past month.
Now, earlier this month, Israel's Prime Minister said racism in the country must be eliminated after protests by Ethiopian Israelis against alleged discrimination. As black migrants from a country with a poorly developed educational system, they have struggled to integrate into Israeli society.
Yes, they've been left feeling as if their treatment has never quite matched the imagination and generosity of the initial impulse which brought them there. One of those is Maherata Baruch Ron. She's the deputy mayor of Tel Aviv, and she's been speaking to Nuala McGovern about her journey from Ethiopia to Israel.
We were a small Jewish community living for thousands of years in Ethiopia. The native Ethiopians actually treated us as outsiders. They actually used to name us Falasha, which means invaders, people who don't belong to the country. And our dream was to get to Jerusalem and live as Jews in the Holy Land. And I was lucky that when I was 9 years old, in 1984, my father gathered our family and told us that in a few days we will start our journey to Jerusalem and to fulfill our 2,000 years dream.
So this dream, it sounds very optimistic, very hopeful, and that your family wanted to do it. But tell us about that journey. Where did you go? What countries did you cross?
The journey was difficult, and it was by foot. We left the village at night, actually escaping from the Ethiopian government, because Ethiopia at that time was a Marxist country, and it didn't allow its citizens to live. So we had to escape to Sudan, to the Sudanian border, and it took 3 weeks before we got to Red Cross refugee camp in Sudan.
What are your memories when you think back to that time? What do you feel?
First, I was very enthusiastic to get to Jerusalem, that my uncle used to tell us that this is a magical place, that there are no problems. Later on, I was, of course, disappointed.
You said you expected Israel to be a magical place. Was it when you finally got there?
It was still magical to me because I came from very